Andrew, today we're talking about those sort of iceberg things in a church planter's life. One of those things that might not be as urgent sounding, but is really important. Now, if you had one thing you had to keep your eye on, or the big thing, what do you think it would be?
Yeah, it's a good question because actually yesterday someone was asking me, a bunch of church planners were actually asking, what's the key thing to keep at? And it's a good question to keep coming back to. The absolute key thing is glorify God in being a proclaimer and a teacher. Proclaim the word, teach the word. That's what we're about. And the context of that was the key thing to grow the church. The key thing, whether it grows a church or not, is proclaim the word, teach the word, just keep prayerfully doing that kind of stuff. But I would say, I think the key growth engine by the Spirit of God is change lives. So that, as we proclaim the word, as we teach the word, as we apply the word into people's lives, as we live together in godliness and holiness by the Spirit, the real power is the contagious character of a church that happens when people are being transformed by the ministry of the word. And so to pursue life change with each other, to pursue teaching the word, preaching the word, living the word in such a way as that we're all being transformed, that's contagious. And you can have all the techniques you like. You can work out all the tricks to how I should think about chair setup, and all that stuff's actually, I think, important. It's not insignificant entirely, but the heart of it is, the engine of it is change lives. Just continue to pursue that.
Now, I'm just thinking about this because lots of churches will put in place things that are about the conversion point, and I've got no problem with that, as you said. Bringing somebody into the kingdom, so to speak, is that part. But changed lives, how do you structurally plan for changed lives when you're setting up a church?
Well, the whole of conversion through to growth is a process of change. And I think one of the things we need to do is help our people who are established in the faith to not imagine that the change happened at a conversion and now that's it. We're making disciples, which is bringing to faith and growing in faith. So it's all a change process. Then some of the strategies come, well, how do I help facilitate that happening? The key to it is applying the word into each other's lives prayerfully by the Spirit. But there's ways that you can, I think, facilitate the sense that we're about that together. Part of your preaching is about that, seeing change happen wrought by the word, through the Spirit by the word. But you celebrate change. So, you get the person up who's been converted. I wasn't thinking about God at all, and then I was impacted by this meeting with and the gospel, and here I am now transformed. You celebrate that, bring it to people's attention, give thanks for it, and it communicates powerfully. But do that with the person who's been a nominal Christian or a religious person and testify to the transformation, or the person who's been wanting to grow and's gone through patches of tough time. Celebrate all those.
So you're not just looking for the person who was the slave trader who's now become
they're pretty handy if you can find them. They're pretty good, but they're pretty rare these days in Australia. But so we're trying to find opportunities, but it all comes from that core issue of we're about proclaiming, teaching the word to bring about change. And the thing that makes churches contagious and grow because of that contagion is that this is a place where life change is happening, and I'm coming to life, I'm growing, and I want my friends to experience what I'm experiencing. When that's happening, it's a powerful engine.
I suppose it's fundamental when you think about it, because many people who have come to the point of conversion have come to a point, maybe a nanosecond before then, that they're no longer satisfied with who they are. And I guess churches are dealing with people who actually are seeking change. So making change the part of the agenda is obviously going to be meeting that evangelistic urge as well.
Yeah, good. Look, I think a lot of what we're about as preachers, and now we're not just talking church planting anymore, we're talking the whole nature of ministry in every context. But certainly as the planter, I'm going out with an agenda to bring people to faith, which is bringing people to change, and to build church through the evangelisation of a region. That's a change agent. But cultivating and creating a sense that we are dissatisfied. There's something much more. And so you've got the negative positive of where we are, we need to get away from. Where God's taking us to is somewhere to get to. Doing both and that in our work together is utterly critical. That we use the fear of and yet the attraction and joy of. Both those things are
obviously somebody just wanting you to change something.
That's right, one of my sons. Yeah.
Well, Andrew, thanks very much for your time. I guess change, an essential agent to sort of build into your thinking as a church planner and as a preacher.
Absolutely.
Mate, we'll look forward to chatting to you next time.
Yeah, pleasure. Good on you.